Hello everyone, Don here, back with a quick little update on my Corsair project upgrades. And what I want to show is the canopy. I'm into the polishing part of the canopy. So far it's coming up pretty good. My initial test was to try and use this foam pad from the headlight cleaning kit with the little backer pad, which is Velcro. This is a piece of foam, soft foam in there. This is a little stiffer stuff, but I ended up buying some of this McGuire's. That's about the only thing I can find locally. I went out driving Uber for 4 hours today, and I stopped at 3 or 4 different places looking for the Novus brand, but don't seem to have any. Some commenter had mentioned that Home Depot lists selling the stuff, so I did a search this morning for the Home Depot version. Turns out the only store around here that had some in stock was in Jamestown, New York, which is probably an hour drive away from here. And it's like, nah, I'm not going to Jamestown. So I ended up getting this at the local O'Reilly's, but everybody sells this. O'Reilly's, AutoZone. I stopped there today. They had the same stuff. And went to Lowe's. Lowe's didn't have anything. They did have some of this, I think. But I'm going to try like the Harley Davidson shop maybe tomorrow when I'm out driving. I may try the, someone mentioned Forest Park Honda, which is a Honda dealer for ATV stuff. But I didn't get up in that area today, so I'll try those guys out. If not, I have to probably break down and order it from like Walmart. They'll deliver it to the local stores for pickup 2-3 days. So I want to try and find some for this weekend. This is working, but it's cutting kind of slow. It's for like yellowing, oxidation, and fine scratches, which would be, you know, kind of scuff marks. This takes that out real well, but this thing ends up causing swirls. The edge of this Velcro is actually pretty rigid, and I think that was digging in from doing the sanding with this. The disc get wore on the edge, and it getting into the edge of this disc. So I think that's where most of the swirl scratches were coming from, is the edge of this thing. When these things are new, they're a little bigger diameter, and the edges don't stick out. Even this is 3000 grit. It fits on there, but it leaves very, very marginal area of catching that edge. So I was creating more scratches with that than I could polish out. So I had to resort to the big guns. Broke out the polisher. There's a Harbor Freight special, but it's 200 to 3300 RPM. So using this thing, it goes like 0 to 5 on the speed knob. The low speed, that's 200 RPM. And if you take her up, which is way too fast. But if I go to between like 2 and 3, there's 1, 2, 2.5. That works really well. And then 3 would be basically the maximum speed I'd run it at. This originally came with this foam pad. I think it come with some other stuff, but this actual one here, which would be like a wool pad, I bought that at the local paint store. So I'd use this to polish my aluminum rotor blades for the gyro, so it kind of blacked. I washed it out before I tried using it, but the center section, you don't generally use most of that. So you're always using this outer edge, because you're running it on the edge like this to polish it back and forth. And it works really good on the outside, but on the inside, it's just a little too big, a little too bulky. Getting into the center curve was troubling. And then trying to hold this thing, you kind of roll it up on edge like this, block it up against your body, and you can get in there and work on this, and then spin it around, do the other half. But the idea would be to polish the inside. I've done this inside and outside about 3 times now. So I've got maybe 2 hours of buffing, first trying that and then switching over to this. And this cuts a lot faster. So it's looking pretty clear. It's not too bad. But if you can look up close enough, I don't know if they show up, but you see all the fine little swirl marks in there, and there's probably still some smudges from, I see some spots there just from the cleaner, but I don't know if that'll show up on video. I'll find out later. But it just looks like a whole bunch of little swivel bullseyes. But they are getting less and less. Each time I went over it, they were getting fewer and fewer. I just think that it needs a little harder cutting solution than this. Maybe that Novus 3 would have worked good for the starting part. But if I find any, I'm going to get at least the 2. And they're like $10 a bottle. You can get a whole kit online for like 23 bucks. Gives you 1, 2, and 3. So if you start with the 3, you have to use the 2. And the 1 is more of a cleaner polish that you would use to clean it when it gets dirty. It's just keeps it up to date. So I use this light, works really good for seeing where the heavy scratches are. But as far as all the scratches that were in it, the physical scratches, those cleaned up really nice with these sanding pads. Those did great. But trying to buff it with this foam pad, it's just not working. And this is, like I said, a little big. This is about a 7-inch disc, because this is 6-inch sanding disc for my angle grinder. So it's about a 7-inch disc. So I'm looking to go pick up a new one of these at the paint store for this weekend, and I'll get back on and finish polishing this out. But it's working. It's just a little slow with that. I'd say it'd probably another 4 or 5 runs inside and out before it'd probably be, I mean, it's usable there, but those swirls would drive you nuts in the sunlight. So, I also, one second, this light is terrible, there we go. I ordered the cables, the brake cables, the motorcycle brake cables. Pull them out of here real quick. You get 2 brake cables, which is the 3/32 wire, and it comes with all these, the little, all thumbs. Comes with ferrules to put on the end after you cut it to the length you want. It comes with these little pieces here. I'm not sure if this is meant to be crimped on when you're done, but that's for putting into the brake handle that needs the barrel. And then you've got the locking collar for that end. And then the other end has your typical barrel, lead barrel fittings on it. So this is the 3/32, and then this is the throttle cable, which is a 16th inch, and you can see the difference in the size of these cables. They're made in China, but they are super smooth, very nice. These are 5 foot, the brake and clutch cable's 5 foot, but I'll be cutting this end down here only down to a foot or so, because it's only got to go from from here up into here. So you're talking a foot, maybe a little more than a foot. They'll attach here and come up through here, and then they'll be anchored up here, and then the cable can free go on up through. I'll add on to these cables because I got to run it all the way up to the pedals, and I got to put that spring in there, so it has to be a 2-piece anyway. And I also ordered up the tubing for the motor mount, so that's coming. Last night's tracking showed it to be in Pittsburgh, which is about 2 hours south of here. Whenever I usually see something in Pittsburgh, I usually have it the next day. Well, it didn't make it today. It's coming through the postal service, so it'll probably be here tomorrow. So this weekend I'll have that. I can maybe start cutting on some of that stuff, making that. But I'm going to get this buffed out. So in the next video, you'll probably see this all finished, even if I have to use this. I've used close to half a bottle already. And the whole bottle, it'll probably take the whole bottle to get that to where I'll be happy with it. But it's looking good. So it's better than it looked from, from sanding it, where it looked like a milk jug, a opaque milk jug that you couldn't see through. But it's tough to tell, are the scratches on the inside or the scratches on the outside. I had 2 scratches on there that weren't on there when I started, and I think it was from the block sanding with the 2000 grit. It must have scratched it. And I'm trying to polish on the outside, and it's not going. I can't feel it inside, outside, and it was too hard to tell. It turned out it was on the inside. So I had to break out the sanders and resand it and then repolish it. But after that first initial polish, it showed up the scratches that you couldn't see from the first sanding down of everything. So then you had to go in and touch up. But I've got all the scratches. There's no heavy scratches now. It's just the fine squirrels from that thing. So this will not work on a bigger scale. You need this. I do have that. I do have a foam pad, but I've always thought that the foam was better to use for stuff like this than that wool. But I'm not even going to try that. It's too dirty from laying in the toolbox. I'm just going to get another one of these because it's working well. So I'm going to see if I can't get maybe a 6-inch one. I'd have to get the backer and the pad to go down to a 6-inch. But a 6-inch will work great on the inside. And plus, like I said, you look at all this, that's all compound, because I washed this all out in soap water and wrung it out and started using it. So a fresh one should help. I don't even remember what I paid for that. It's been probably 5-6 years since I bought that one. Alright, that's all I wanted to do tonight, is get that up so you guys can see where I'm at. So next video probably won't be till next weekend. I hopefully have that polished out. If I can find the other stuff, I'll use it. If not, I'll keep going on this. Maybe buy some of that stuff for later. But so far, it's all I got. So Vertigo, I forgot to mention, I still have the Vertigo. I mean, it's better, but anytime, like I said, I just twitch my head like that to the right or left, you know, it's there. And walking the dog, you know, bouncing up and down, walking the dog, it's there. Driving, it's there. So it's slowly, steadily going away. I have been hearing, you know, like fluid in my right ear. It's gone now, and it's been causing an ache in my jaw, like I got a bad tooth, which I do have a filling loss there, but I think it's all from that infection trying to get out of my system. So, but it'll probably be another month before it's gone, because this last 20% is taking its sweet old time to go away. So I'm not 75, 80% would be a long shot that I'm at 80%. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and cut this up, just keep it short, and I will see you guys on the next one. So for now, I appreciate everyone watching my videos as always. Feel free to leave any comments, questions, or concerns, and I'll address them when they come in. And thanks for everybody that is commenting. Appreciate it. And we will see you guys on the next one. So for now, this is Dino Don out.